Sometimes, the Master Learning Forum is one of the best websites to discuss and study old musket technology. Several days ago, I found a post, although this post was set about 6 years ago. However, this post still shows us a significant direction to learn the development from flintlock to the percussion lock. So in this video, let's talk about how to modify the flintlock to the percussion lock. Any new type percussion lock muskets, I think we may need to notice a situation in the mid-19th century, since the percussion cap showed the people its adventure and its corresponding technology got more mature. More and more old-type flintlock guns were gradually replaced by the new musket with percussion lock. In this changing time, because the trigger system structure between flintlock and percussion lock had a similar element in mechanism, which both were kind of a snap lock system, so the people might find this point as well, and then they started the modification work. In other words, they wanted to use the original trigger system of the old flintlock and did something changing work on the pen and the vent hole of the musket. And as a background of the first globalization gradually started to appear in the 19th century. More and more products were introduced into the progress of the global trade, and the weapon also was one of the products among them. In the mid-19th century, many new type percussion lock muskets were introduced to Asia, such as China and Japan, and these introduced guns were called Yangqiang and Shenyangzhu in Chinese and Japanese language. So these best guns may also push the Asian local gunsmiths to upgrade their own traditional matchlock muskets. The feature was that the percussion lock replaced the original matchlock. When we see the modification between the Western version and the Eastern version, the modification of the pen and vent hole was the very important part that all of the gunsmiths focused on. Not only the military gunsmiths, but also the gunsmiths for the civil firearms. Gradually, our world finally might have this means 3 modification methods. So today's video also is about the 3 methods converting flintlock to percussion lock. The French style conversion also can be called drum and nibble conversion because of its iconic shape. This was the earliest method from the early 1850s, and now it also is said that this conversion was done by private contractors. In addition, when I collected the corresponding materials about this kind of musket modification knowledge, I found that this kind of drum and nipple conversion also features the old-time gunsmiths from the Pennsylvania counties of Bedford and Somerset. According to the pictures, we can very easily find these features because of the very clearly recognizable vent screw. And there is a small tube-loop part, also known as the nipple, on the screw, which threads into the touch hole, and the nipple is the location that is utilized to put the percussion cap on. In order to complete the conversion, the freezing screw, the freezing spring, and the freezing spring screw all have to be removed. Then, the pen has to be cut enough or be cut at all to fix the new percussion drum. Besides these operation steps, the flintlock should also be replaced by the percussion hammer. Plus, because some parts have been removed, there are some now empty holes. If someone wants a better appearance, he may fill these holes in the lock plate. Okay, the second one, Belgian Alteration, or cone type. So cone type and the drum and nibble conversion had similar years in birth. Both also appeared from the early 1850s. The different points is on the structure. Although both have very similar modification steps, the cone type is similar with the drum and the nibble conversion, like freezing screw, the freezing spring, and the freezing spring screw need to be removed, and changing the flintlock to the percussion hammer, then plugging all the holes on the lock plate. The biggest difference might be the step of modifying the pen and the vent hole. For the cone type, after removing the pen, there will be a cavity left. Typically, the gunsmith can fill it with brass. to give a squared-off lock profile. Then there is a percussion nipple, and it is screwed into a tappet hole at the top of the barrel. Maybe it had to care of aiming and making a small fit to the percussion hammer smashing to the nipple, so the nipple screwed just opposite to the lock plate side. The last one is the bolster conversion. As with the former both kinds of conversions, this modification method also appeared around the 1850s. It says that the bolster conversion was used in muskets of the early American Civil War years. As we can see from the name, the most iconic point is this bolster. After removing all of the external parts and plugging the holes, the bolster-shaped part can be braced or screwed into the location of the primer hole of the original flintlock gun barrel. In addition, it is worth mentioning that, apart from bracing and screwing connection methods, there is another way to connect the bolster and the barrel. Some gunsmiths can cut off the breech of the original gun barrel and build an entirely new breech, which has a preformed bolster. Then, the new breech can be screwed into the barrel. Ultimately, let's sum up the earliest way to recognize them, or in other words, the clearest difference among them three methods of modification from a flintlock to percussion lock gun. In short, the French style, or be called drum and nipple conversion, is a kind of a method in which people screw the percussion nipple into the original vent hole or the side of barrel. The Belgian alteration, or be called the cone type conversion, as a percussion nipple is screwed into the top of the barrel, and then use the brass to fill the lock plate that missed a piece of part after removing the flash pan. The bolster conversion, the muskets modified by using this method, will have a clear bolster shape part on the location between the outside of the barrel and the lock plate. Okay, this is today's video, and thank you for watching. Hope you can like this video. Have a good day. See you next time.